Goatsquadtv, we back. We back in effect. Okay, so we're gonna talk about this Buffalo Bills versus New England Patriots game. Yes, I'm biased. I'm a Patriots fan, but I'm gonna call it down the middle on this one. Bills won that game. Deserved to win that game. They made the plays they needed to make at the end defensively. Shouts to Damian Harris. He had 16 carries for 102 yards and a touchdown. He came up big in the second half. Cam Newton had a rushing touchdown. Um, 15 for 25 for 174. It's kind of where he's at right now. I don't know what's up with his shoulders. I don't know if he's just throwing knuckleballs out there right now. Jacoby Myers had 5 catches for 58 yards. J.C. Jackson had a pick. Then on the Buffalo side, you had Josh Allen, 11 for 18, 154 in INT. Should be able to beat them if he's not playing up to par. Dev Singletary had 14 carries for 86 yards. Zach Moss had 14 carries for 81 yards and 2 TDs. There were points and times in that game for the Patriots defense we couldn't get a stop, especially towards that third and fourth quarter. We just kept giving up touchdown after touchdown. We got a couple stops towards the end to get them at least to a field goal, but ultimately at the end of the day, it just wasn't happening. It just wasn't meant to be. Cam fumbled the ball, running it. When we had momentum, should have gave the ball to Damian Harris, man, or we should have did something else. Anything else would have been better than that. Things happen. You're gonna have those situations. You're gonna fumble, but you don't really expect Cam Newton to ever really fumble in those situations. He said it's inexcusable. I'd be the first one to agree with him. It was super inexcusable. You don't do that in a clutch moment. I would have much rather him ran out of bounds in a situation, or like I said, Damian Harris. I mean, that's really on coaching when it comes down to it too, because McDaniel seems to know when to run the ball in that situation and run it with the running back that's getting you effective yardage. Damian Harris was getting yardage. So I mean, at the end of the day, let's really be real about this, man. Where do the Patriots go? We're 2-5. We really ain't going nowhere this year. Do we trade Stephon Gilmore? Do we get picks for him? Do we sit Cam down towards the end of the season and pretty much wave the white flag and sit him in there for those last 3 to 4 games? Look, the only bright spots really are Jacoby Myers, Damian Harris, and maybe Winovich on defense. J.C. Jackson had 4 picks this year, so I got to salute him. But the defense ain't the same. We're missing way too many parts. Hightower being gone, he's the dude that really calls our defense. We're missing him, missing Patrick Chung, who's a veteran of veterans. I mean, the McCourty brothers could only do so much. You know what I mean? They're doing what they're asked. So where do we go? Do we tank for Trevor? Which I doubt, because Bill ain't never gonna tank. I'll tell you that right now. That's not Bill's mentality. Do we try to trade up in the draft? We never really ever get receivers in the draft, so we shouldn't even bother with that, because Bill's just not good at drafting receivers. I mean, you might as well go after the undrafted free agents, which is where that's more his wheelhouse when it comes to looking for receivers. And Kill Harry's been a no-show. Hurt or not, he's been a no-show. I tried to stick up for him last year. I thought Brady was looking washed last year. It turned out he wasn't looking washed at all. It was the fact that it was the receivers. And I hate to say that because I don't like to blame, receivers, but let's just call it like it is. He ain't showing up. He was picked in the first round. He ain't showing up. Wouldn't be the first time Belichick's picked a receiver in the first round. They ain't really do nothing. We drafted 2 tight ends, and they ain't going to play the next year, just like Devin Harris right now. Because he didn't play last year. These guys are just sitting back and learning the system. Dalton Keene and Devin Associate, if I said his name correctly, I apologize if I messed his last name up. That said, this is going to be the year we don't make the playoffs, but we cannot be back. We cannot be worse than the Jets under no circumstances. We need to win that game next week. No prisoners. We need to win that game. Cannot be worse than the Jets. Miami's depends. Miami plays us tough. We got to play them in a couple weeks. We got a lot of tough teams on that schedule still left, man. I think the only game, give or take, that we probably could win maybe would be Houston, but I don't know, man. Bill hasn't been doing too well against his former assistants lately. Look at what Vrabel been putting it on him the last couple times, and I know Romeo Cornell like 74. I mean, let's face it, he's not the greatest head coach in the world. He's just there to fill in, but he's still an ex Belichick assistant and disciple, and they're both Parcells disciples. So let's see, man. What are we gonna do? What I want to ask, what are we gonna do? Leave your comments below. Gold Squad TV, Gold Squad General, the building, and hey man, enjoy the rest of the night. Watch these games. Enjoy them. Football season will be over before you know it. Next year, you know, we'll be back in basketball season where I belong because I'm a basketball head before anything. Because I know my football. All right, salute.